Britannia! Don't be sorry. It's my man. Hey, don't look so sad. Yeah, I know the world is going mad.
You want civil war, but you lack conviction.
You never been intimidated by something you haven't done. You got me, you got you. Don't feel alone, never feel just you. It's not just you. Oh, it's not just you. We have an army, not all the way. We are the people.
Commander War, but don't be a cunt.
We have the heart, we have the head.
Kill everyone on the road.
I'm having a ball. They make a course correction for
You, Mr. Rascal.
My name is Owen Jones, a renowned drama queen, pseudo-intellectual and champagne socialist.
Marxist shites with blood on them. There's 100 new there, but for them it's okay. They went to uni, studied home economics. Yeah, that will save the day. They'll say we never heard a fly, and you can't call it a lie. They never laid a hand, they never took the land. They just let the people starve in a slave state. The only others who got to work too late. Utopia. The prison for the mind. An excuse to make slaves. Utopia. A fictitious state. Freedom enforced.
Yo, Tom Fury, Zero News. I assume we need no introduction. No, Thomas Fury. I don't know why I said that. Beautiful day. It's hovering around 15. Potential to break the record in my area. Easterly wind, so you wouldn't think it, but yeah, it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. There's a point, the political point, I want you to bring up. But also, obviously, to address a couple of bits from earlier on. So, I do want to apologise for losing my temper. And so, maybe not putting my arguments over in the most gracious of ways. But at the same time, I still think you can be emotional as long as you're still grounding yourself in truth. So, yeah, you know, don't, like I say, I've had a try, have a policy not to lose my temper on camera. It's just, you know, generally speaking, it's not good for anybody. But I was genuinely impassioned to make that video earlier on, and rightly or wrongly, I'll stand by it. And, you know, because I do think, well, what I said in the title of it, and I do think that the movement's kind of let Vin down. Yeah. You know, and that's true, and I'm standing by that. So anyway, I hope the comments are switched on this thing. It's a nightmare at the moment, but then again, so is my eyesight. But what I did want to say is, one of the other things about all of this, why I might find this triggering, is there's so many people out there that are always looking for dividers, and talking about dividers and all this other stuff. And what a lot of people don't realise is there's some stuff that up till now, they don't appreciate the way that, say, Dino Bean, for instance, puts out his content, because it's quite sarcastic, it's quite hard-hitting. But that's the way he chooses to make his argument. It doesn't make the argument any less or, you know, you may not like his delivery, but it's the argument you're supposed to be weighing up. Same as somebody from the other end of the spectrum that might push your foot around the argument. If you understand what it is, it's the same argument that you're trying to weigh up. My point being is, evolution is always about friction. And what a lot of people call division is actually ideology and politics clashing, which is what ideology and politics are supposed to do with inside a country. They're supposed to clash. The best ideas are supposed to go to the top. The best ideas you hope will survive. It doesn't always work that way, but it's what you're aiming for. And so, yeah, we all sometimes feel like maybe we crossed a little line here and there that we've got to wind back from, which is why I do try and, you know, reverse any wrong mistakes I feel like I've made, or try and offer a hand here and there. Won't be making that mistake for a while though. But politically, that's not division. That is the process. If everybody just stands around patting on the back, each other on the back, agreeing with each other, that's socialism. And that's something else. Yeah, we're right wing, we believe in democracy, so it doesn't kind of work the same way. So, yes, this is going to happen, especially when our country is this badly affected, and now it's got beyond politics, and the average person on the street is now aware that there's a massive problem in their country, and they are desperate to fix it. So desperate, in fact, that you're seeing record numbers of people signing up to a political party, and that I don't think that's a bunch of right-wing people. They've never made those difference in numbers before. I think that's just the people signing up to Restore. If I'm honest, I think that's just the people who've been unrepresented for so fucking long. And for whatever reason, and this is for you to make up your own minds, there's a lot of people that seem to resent that the people feel like they found a voice. We're all supposed to be servants of the people, aren't we? So I feel like, yeah, our ideologies are going to clash, our politics is going to clash, and it's going to cause some things to happen. That's fine. Yeah, and so many people see that as division, but the truth of it is, like I say, you've got an election 3 years away. You're best to have all these clashes out now. So again, so the voter knows who they're voting for. So the ideas are out on the table, so everybody's revealed their cards. Yeah, no more games, yeah, because we don't have the time for any more games. At least if you know where everybody stands for their politics, in a game where everyone's playing politics, you can make an informed choice, which should be everyone's biggest goal here, to be offering that. So it worries me when that isn't the case, but yeah, so that should be the ultimate goal of the things that we're trying to do. And that, again, that happens by the friction. You look at any politics, when politics was a bit more real than it is now, look at it. It's always been about friction. Look at Greek democracy, they beat the shit out of each other. It's always been about friction. But the personal shit, and again, we can all cross a little bit into that line sometimes and sort of make a mistake, but again, the getting someone's channel taken down requires the mobilisation of quite a few people or quite a few quid, one or the other. Either will do. And I naively thought those days are gone. And that is the kind of shit that I can't, I hold my nose up everything else, because I think so many things people think, oh, Tom's got to have an opinion on everything. I hold back so much. There's so many things I don't talk on. But yeah, when you cross that line with free speech, that especially, it's worse when you're one of the people that will harp on about believing in it. And then if again, there's no final proof of anything, but whoever is responsible for what happens to Bryn's channel, and I think we know they're not on the left, but you know, I say I think, and I think that. But let's put it this way: the left don't have any problems with anything against Jews or anything, do they? Let's be totally honest about that. So, unlikely to be anything like that, was it? So, yeah. You know, I think it's pretty obvious with all the other things going on, and I just think that's something that we shouldn't be engaging in. I've always thrown stones at the left for. It's, you know, and it's also very desperate. And I wish I could tell you that I can't figure out the reason why, but I kind of can. I can see it, but I just don't want to cause it. There's certain levels of things I won't even say if I haven't got the 100% concrete proof to prove it. So I'm not going to say what I think because I need the 100% concrete proof to be saying anything. But I feel like I know what's gone on, at least in part, not in full. But yeah, you know. And again, it doesn't really matter either way whether I do or don't. This is the games that none of us should be playing. Do you know what? I've never so much as downvoted another creator's video. Do you know that? Just out of, I don't know, a common courtesy. Even if I hate them. So there's certain things you don't do. I've never downvoted a Paul Thorpe video. Why? What's the point? You're giving them engagement anyway. Like a downvote, people don't understand this, and creators have tried to tell them for enough years. Whether you comment on someone's channel, whether you upvote it or downvote it, YouTube doesn't care. Just like their AI, you need to understand it's all built on the same principle. There's only one word they care about: engagement. And engagement is engagement. You can say that you don't care, and you can hide behind laughing emojis when you're trolling all you like. But the truth of it is, we know, and YouTube certainly knows because they're monetizing it, that you do care, which is why you're commenting in the first place. Because most people don't comment. About 80 to 90% of the people that watch streamers don't comment. So therefore it takes a special kind of person to come on and comment. Out of that, you know, it takes a 10%. And then out of that, so you see what I'm saying? It's the same with upvoting, downvoting things. It takes a special, most people don't do it. So you can imagine the special kind of person it takes then to either actively spend money or to actively sway people to go and take down a channel. And I can hear in my head the moral justifications for doing it as well. Yeah, I can hear it now in my head. It'll be all to do with race, and because again, under every floorboard at the moment, to some people, there's a racist. Do you know what? I keep hearing about how black people in this country are scared. Well, show me one in the centre or the right that is then, because I'm not meeting them. In fact, like when we were on the thing in Southampton, particularly black people seem to know that we're cool, and they would come out like with us. So I don't know why they're trying to push this kind of stuff. It's counter to what we've been trying to achieve in this movement for years. That's what they don't realise, is they're destroying the very thing that they think that they tried to create in the movement in the first place, which is a place that's welcome to all. And it is. It is. That's the crazy part about it. But there are some people that will just carry on with it, and I'm sorry, I don't know how else to frame it, but it sounds like a lefty argument to keep seeing racists under the floorboards. What did we used to say to the lefties? What did we used to say to them? Sorry, we've run out of Nazis. There aren't any. sorry, you know, sorry to disappoint. You want to go punch a Nazi? Well, if you find one, good luck. We'll help you. You know, it's just... But now, you know, since Rupert Lowe launched his party, the country's full of them. Now, ask yourself one simple question. How many supposedly right-wing podcasters who've got their finger on the pulse of Britain, so to say, were talking about there being an uprising in far-right people, podcasts or politicians up until the point where Rupert opened up his own party? Then you find it was a grand total of 0. It's all happened since. This is why these things happen, because it sticks. Even if it's only in part, shit sticks. Especially to clean targets. Especially to clean targets. It notices more, right? And that's something you should remember. Anybody gets shit thrown at them and they seem completely impervious to it, probably because they're already covered in it. But if it really seems to stick horribly, it might be more to that. It might be because that person's cleaner than you think. And that's why it looks so bad on them. You know? Just a thought. Just a thought. But no, you know, so I wanted to come on and say, look, I should be making my arguments calm. And just to say, yeah, you know, I sort of spent a bit of emotion and stuff like that. And I might take a break to the end of the weekend, to be honest. I say that, you know, I'll probably be back tomorrow morning, but at the moment I just felt taking a break. You know, because I don't know. I don't know if you'll understand this or not. It depends how long you've been in the movement or what, or how up and down you've ever felt. Because I feel like we've been on a roller coaster ride, right, in the movement. And something, I remember someone, she probably won't want to be named, but I remember someone years ago, I said, so does this being disappointed by people ever stop? And she said, no, it never does. But if you keep your mind open to that fact, she said, it doesn't make it right, but it makes it more tolerable because you know it's coming. And yeah, you know, yeah, so you know, it's just, it's what it is. But we've got to move forward, you know. And I mean, I hope Vin's staying around. I think he is. So yeah, I think he is. So good on him. You know, there are ways these days. The only good thing about the AI, that I've ever found is that it's tracking a lot of the stuff going on around your channel. So it can now see when there's a likelihood, just like I can, of an attack. Which is why 13 hours ago, probably more than that now, I don't know how many hours ago now, but if you look on my community page, it tells you a generalization of why people might do certain things. It might be 15, 16, 17 hours ago now. And it also says about the things that might be done next. I took out one of the things because I thought it was too harsh, and it happened. But it talks about how the next tactic would be underhanded tactics, for instance. So, yeah, that was interesting. It was interesting because I posted that up and then the next day woke up to all this. So, but sorry, the main point was that the AI can see a pattern of behaviour now. And the only, again, I'm not going to praise AI very often because I hate it, but the only saving grace for that is when it gets it right, it understands when an attack is likely because it can see the build up to it and why. You know, it's not always that nuanced, but it's more nuanced than they're letting you know. So that may help in the future, because at the end of the day, it's not in the, believe it or not, it's not in YouTube's best interest to take down creators who could potentially make the money in the future. So, you know, they're interested in that. It's all about the ads with YouTube. The whole existence is about the ads, the ad revenue. They're all their rules. Nearly all YouTube's rules are about ad revenue. They let you do what they want otherwise, what you want otherwise. It's all about ad revenue and the types of woke advertisers that are prepared to deal with them, even though most of them are con men and selling con items. But story for another day. Hey everybody, good to see ya. I'm good. Ha. It's good to see everybody on. Nice to see you guys. Monetize. So there's two. YouTube keep changing it. So to give you an overall idea, it basically means that you've got the ability. So you have to have X amount of subscribers. I think it's 1,000. And you've got to have had 4,000 watch hours. That means people have watched it the equivalent of 4,000 hours in a row. It's not actually that much. And then you can apply, which is not the same as get, monetization. And monetization will allow you to do things like open a shop, or allow people to give you super chats, or do what I used to do, which was just turn on the ads for the ad revenue. So, or you could do all of them at once. You've got also, I think you can have memberships, but I think they've split that into 2 levels now. So monetize means literally that. It's a capitalist route. It's a way of making money from the content that you create. So some people go on YouTube to make a living out of it. Some people just go on to do free projects or to promote their Patreon channels because they'll charge from there. And people like me are more really looking to make money off ad revenue so that I can afford some of the basic things you need to make a half decent podcast. So it depends where you are in the chain as well. But monetize basically means that. It just means to enable ad revenue and stuff like that. I mean, they give, I don't know what it is, something like 0.01 pence per click or something like that. But the way it works is, sorry, I won't go on about this because it's a boring subject, but the way it works is YouTube basically get a third of anything that you get. And unless you've got over 60 quid in your account, which for me wasn't often, they can keep hold of that money. They don't have to pay you out until you get over 60 quid. And then you've got to wait a month for it. They take their money immediately. So if you've got £59.99 in there, they don't have to pay it out. But also, if they demonetize you, they keep the money. It's all in the terms and conditions. You don't have a right. And then when you lose your monetization, they reserve the right to put adverts on your channel anyway. Which they do. They put them on mine. So yeah. So there's no, you're called a YouTube partner, but there's no partnership anymore. You know, they're your boss from a certain point of view. Well, somebody made a great quote there, and that's what I was leading on to. I'm not going to, that wasn't a dumb question at all. No such thing as a dumb question, and I really do believe that. But somebody made a quote there. Listen, the thing that makes all of us content creators hypocrites is making promises, or liars is making promises. So I'm not going to make you promises that may end up making me a hypocrite or a liar. What I will say is, I'm going to try my hardest to take my attention away from certain people, carry on doing what I do, and hope that people will now see things with whatever view they want to, and that these people can continue to do what they do, and people will see whatever they want to see. But I believe in the people, so my money's with the people. But we'll see. But I don't know that there's any more can be achieved by like politically. Again, I've offered to speak, I've offered to do that. That's not going anywhere. The cheap insults don't go anywhere. And yeah, so there's not really much else I can do. I have tried, as I said, I have tried. Even if it's just that we went on the same channel and we disagreed about everything, or we found there was areas of agreement, whatever. I think there's some things that we just fundamentally disagree on, but there may have been some surprises. I really don't know. I think if you go into a conversation with an open mind, you just don't know. But we'll never find out, because it's not really what they want. And I just want you to know that this talk of free speech is always at their convenience. They'll do a live stream. They'll do a live stream that they haven't got any other content for. So then they'll call everybody out, trying to monetize it, and they expect other people to give up their time to go rushing onto their stream to have their point of view, so it can be, so that their time can be monetized. And they think that, like, if you're a creator, all of us creators know how that game works, because we're all taught the same game. Yeah. So when someone does do it about prime time and do a show and it calls everybody out, you know exactly what's going on. Oh, it's monetization time, and that's a circus, and people don't want to be part of that. The people that are here for good, genuine reasons. And again, I'm not even blaming anybody for doing that, because again, it's more YouTube, really. It's what YouTube encouraged you to do. I'm not even really going to blame the creators, because they're kind of pushed to do it. To be honest. So, and this is what's created people like Sneeko, to be honest, because they're pushed. There was a guy who was asked the other day by Louis Theroux. He said he was a top influencer, and Louis said to him, "Why? You've got all these people that support you." He said, "Why don't you use the platform you've got and the message you've got to do good, and to spread a good message for people?" And the guy stopped in his tracks, and he said, "That's a good question." And he said, and I'm going to have to paraphrase, I can't remember exactly the words, but he said basically that if I had done that, I would have never got here. If I had done that, I would have never got popular in the first place. And it's the drama that sells. He's absolutely right. And that's how, and don't get me wrong, some people sell it in a good way. Like, you got Critical Drinker, who's I think is a really good channel. And then you got people like, again, the Sneekos and that do it in a bad way. So there's good and bad to the way it's done. But yeah, but it's just a kind of, I don't know, horrible kind of market with some of them. Going and getting beaten up by MMA fighters and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen those videos. And the other thing as well, I mean, if you've heard of the Roger Jackson incident, where he took a wrestler in the ring and pretended to misunderstand a word that he absolutely knew the meaning of, and in my opinion, attempted to murder a man in what's supposed to be a fake wrestling ring. That came about by a collision of influencer, UFC, WWE. They're merging in America. The influencer scene's so different from here. They're merging over there because obviously there's mutual money to be made. I get it. And also, a lot of the big names are trying to merge because they've got a name in. So they're trying to swap fans. It makes a business sense. Like, a lot of them are. So there are some good businessmen involved in it. I say good businessmen. Most of them are now facing trials of some kind or another. But you know what I mean? They made money. They'll probably lose it all now on court fees. But yeah. But yeah, a lot of them aren't like that. So I don't know. Anyway, I'm way off track. It's just not my, this whole thing's not my cup of tea. And that's my problem. That's not anybody else's problem. That's just me. yeah, I originally wanted to come on YouTube to do just either humorous content or even just fucking what's the word, fiction. I never imagined myself doing this shit, you know. Sorry, I don't mean to call it shit like that, because time spent with you guys has been good, but I just mean, yeah, when I was a kid, of all the problems that we thought we'd have, it would never be that free speech would be under attack again, ever. There's just so many problems that we've got now that when I was growing up weren't problems. They were problems of the past, or just, you know, I think there was a genuine hope and belief amongst some people, maybe naively, that moving into this century would mean that we leave certain things behind. And I think, you know, you see the anger and the passion and everything else. But I think most of us feel a sadness, don't we, about this country? It's like we know what's going on, we know what's happening. We see the life being sucked out from the inside out. You know, our own people now, our own people are going full left, full socialist, you know, and I'll be honest with you, it's them more than anybody that could be the death of this country with the way they're voting, you know. This is what I'm saying, we don't have time for like, I don't know, again, like I said yesterday, if there was a snap election, or we just don't have time for that. Like, that could really f things up. So as much as we need Starmer out, we also kind of don't at the moment. It's a really complicated time in politics, but it's also a time that we, the people, have got no control over, other than our ability to vote. You know, so all we ever do is we're commentary on the sidelines. We're commentary on the sidelines at the end of the day. And some of us go out and do some activism as well, yeah, and have some guests on sometimes. That's pretty much the scope of what we do, right? And that should be the scope of what we do, and that shouldn't mean trying to get channels taken down. That's supposed to be a no-go area for all of us, you know. Do you know what? I absolutely abhor certain people with certain beliefs, especially ones with the Austrian painter who love him, and I've fought for their right to free speech on certain platforms, because I believe in free speech to that, and I believe that those people, you need to see them in plain sight. So, you know, it's not, I don't pick, that's what I'm trying to say, I don't pick and choose. Again, we've got no free speech on YouTube anyway. We don't, creators have lost control of that long time ago. But yeah, I don't know. People have accused me and others of creating a toxic environment. But the fact of it is, I'm too, you know, I can say my thing in my little bubble, but look at the size of my channel. It is in my little bubble. It's the little rats that cause trouble. And it's the people that like to see a response. Stop. It's the people that like to see the drama that spread these things and create this in the first place. Otherwise, how would these channels hear about each other? They wouldn't. They just wouldn't. There's a lot more people who are culpable in this than will ever get the blame. How do I know this? Because I had a 20,000 channel once. And that's exactly what used to happen. Exactly the same thing. Some terrible tactics were done. And people used to send me, try and send me photographs, try and send me all kinds of things I hadn't asked for. Thinking that I would use them to, say, blackmail someone, or, I mean, the crazy stuff that, you know, and these people wouldn't even know me. They didn't even know me. So they were giving me, like, evidence of something, or not evidence, but, I mean, what if I'd be a psychopath or something? I mean, just insane stuff, you know? And I think, the point I'm trying to get to is, I tried to say this a while back when people were sharing each other's voice notes and pulling all that dirty shit. if you incubate that environment, that's the environment you're going to get out. That's the environment that you're going to create for everybody talking on YouTube. If you create a high drama environment, that's what you're going to get. And if you lower the bar for behaviour and tolerance and free speech and that's what you will get across the board. It will spread. And this is why I'm trying to say we need to knock this shit on the head now. Last thing we need is for this to start spreading like wildfire, and people on the right to think that this is now okay to do, is start getting channels removed on a whim. It needs to stop now. It needs to stop right now. I can't believe there's anybody out there with some of the hard talk that I've heard recently. I can't believe there's anybody out there that would be so intimidated by a channel that they would need to have it taken down. Seriously, it's a channel, it's a YouTube channel. You can block it, you don't ever have to see its content ever again. Seems to me like we've got a bunch of fucking Merry White Houses in our movement. Anyway, as you can see, I'm wasting the sunshine, which I'm not going to do for much longer. I say wasting the sunshine, sorry, I didn't mean disrespect for you. I mean, I'm walking around in a coat sweating when I could be walking around in a t-shirt enjoying myself. So that's on me for not getting myself sorted. But yeah, I just wanted to be a bit more calm and a bit more, you know, and just kind of say that I'm cool, but I'm going to go and chill and catch up with you. I don't know, again, you know, maybe I'll be back tomorrow, but I doubt, you know, I might just want a day off or so. Whew, sorry, I'm hot. Yeah, do you know what? That sun is, I don't know what it's like where you are, guys. It is blistering hot with me today. It's beautiful. I know it wasn't the left for multiple reasons. Timing being a massive part of it, but also the left weren't around. The left cannot hide it when they're around. They always leave the telltale signs. We tip each other off. We know when they're around because they will always trip their own entrance, because somebody will always, yeah, they always trip the entrance. So the left always announce they're always announce it when they're arriving, even if they don't intend to. I was on Rumble, but I struggle on there, but I am on Getter. I think at Tom's Fury on Getter. Yeah, well, this hat is just a hat because I lost my hat the other day, so I need to get it replaced. But no, this hat has history. So a guy, when Donald Trump came over, a guy called John Francis had this hat, and he was just wearing it to wind up lefties. So I kept it for that reason. And then where I lost my hat recently, it's like it's the only one I got left. So that's why I'm wearing the hat. No other reason. Because the thing of it is, at the moment, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get some funny looks. I know, and then I keep forgetting I've got it on. So yeah, everyone's going to think I'm a Trump fan, and it's like, you know. So yeah, I keep forgetting. Anyway, I've even got a badge. Look, shows you how old this is, right? That was from the. Can you see that? That was from the night of the supposed Brexit celebrations when Farage was on the stage and that outside beside Parliament, all that badge is from that night. So yeah, that's going back some time. So shows you how long I've had this hat and that for. So yeah. Anyway, thank you for joining me. Okay, well, you can be bored with me. That's fine. Switch channels. That's the whole point of them. Switch, you know. And ask it. I don't understand people like with that attitude. I know nowhere on my channel does it say you must watch all of it. If you don't, you're a bastard. You know, it's like I appreciate anybody that comes on, even if you watch 5 minutes. That's nice of you. Thank you. You know, I actually consider that a privilege. So I don't know why the attitude. You say you shouldn't call. Oh, sorry, you're talking to someone else. So this person's talking to someone else, saying you shouldn't call someone what you are, and that actually reminds me as well. Just one more point I would like to make, because that actually tripped a memory in me, and that is that's a lot as well of what I'm seeing going on at the moment. Is and I I don't know what other words to use, and the words that I'm going to use are so overused that I fear that you may not take them too seriously. But there is a massive amount of projection going on at the moment, in my humble opinion. I submit this to you as my thoughts, not something I can prove, but I feel like there's a massive amount of projection going on with some people at the moment, with some of the claims that are being made at the moment, and some of the things that are being said at the moment. And some of that projection is more obvious than other stuff, but I feel like the most obvious stuff is pretty much in your face, you know, really in your face. So yeah, I don't know, but that's up for other people to decide. But you know, judge all of us by some of the words that we use, and then see if it does apply to the people we talk about, or if it applies to us. You know, I found that some people are genuine to the word, and other people, you start looking, the words they use. Like, I'll give you a perfect example. Owen Jones. Owen Jones is constantly saying certain words, and especially about hatred. He's always going about hatred, and yet if you look at his body language, he's the most full of hate in any room that there is. He is absolutely seething with everything in the world all of the time. He's the most angry man you'll ever meet, and is a perfect example of it, and yet he calls everybody else angry and full of hatred and bile, and he absolutely describes himself perfectly. And I say that with no comedy intentions or anything like that. Like, he really is. He's so full of hatred, and it's all he ever accuses other people of. So sometimes the cap fits on the guy, on the person that was trying to fire it in the other direction. Sometimes it comes back like a boomerang and just fits perfectly on the owner, on the person that made it. You know, so yeah, it's just strange stuff going on here, not just this channel. Yeah, a lot of people say there's some weird stuff going on. Thank you. No, it's kind of you. No, I realised it wasn't me, mate. No problem. No problem. We do have 2 mods, but the problem is I don't let them know, and I can't see all my comments at the moment, guys. So I do apologise if there's problems in there. I can't see them at the moment. But it's my fault for not letting the mods know when I'm going live, and they keep not getting notifications as well. So if I could, Spawn, I'd turn you into a mod. I don't think I can do it through this interface. So, but it's alright, I'll post mod it. I'll have a look afterwards, and if there's anything that needs to go, I'll get rid of it. Right, bored with this troll, not you, Tom. I got you, mate. No problem, mate. No problem. I realise, please understand, I can't see the troll. Sometimes that's because they block me so that I can't see them. Other times, and then they think I can't block them, you see, which I can't until the mods see them. But sometimes they, yeah, sometimes it's also because the chat that I get, it won't show me everything. So I do apologise, mate. I didn't mean anything to you. I should have realised. I have a hater. That's okay. Let them hate. It's fine. If I could mod you, I would. I can't. Like, I'm using Prism. So on Prism, if I press your name, will it do it? Hang on a second. Let me just try this. I'm gonna right. So no disrespect to the person offered. That is really kind of you. But obviously I don't know you. But I absolutely appreciate you very, very much, and it's really kind of you. And obviously, as I get to know you in future, I would love to have you as a mod here. I do. We could do more mods. So definitely, yeah. Obviously I don't know you at the moment, but I'm sure obviously will speak up for you and that, yeah. Please don't think. Well, I am a bit paranoid, but please understand. We've had people that have tried some crazy stuff before. Spawn, I have modded you though. I've known Spawn for years, so I have modded you though, Spawn. So if there's something you feel needs to be done, but again, if people say what they want about me or whatever, if they're attacking other people in the chat, if they are saying racial slurs or things like that, they got to go. If they're spamming, they go. They got a problem with me, I don't give a shit. They can stay if they want, whatever. But if they're, you know, if it's racial, if it's like I say, if it's targeted harassment, bullying, anything like that, or, you know, and of the mods as well. If it's people antagonising the mods all the time, they're not there to be battered around and provoked. So, you know, leave them alone. Generally speaking, they'll tend to leave you alone. So that's all. You know, we don't have many rules. My community guidelines pretty much say it. Don't be a dick. Old rule. I think did I say old school? Oh, common sense. Common sense. Old school rules. And what was the last thing I said? I can't remember now. I should do. I tried to make sure I remember because they were nice and simple. It's gone. What an idiot. Well, anyway, it's in the community chat there. I memorised this. I don't know. I'm tired. I'm tired, guys. I was pretty pissed off this morning, and it's tired me out. I can feel myself. I can feel my eyes as well. Sorry about that. Right. I think considering, I can see my eyes in the screen as well. I think considering that I'm burning out, I should probably stop, guys. But I do appreciate you guys coming on, having a chat with me. Sorry for anybody I took wrong, by the way. And to the people that trying to troll, I don't care what you think. If there's anything wrong with the way I speak, I don't really care. I speak better than a lot of people. I can mumble at times, but I speak better than a lot of people. The only thing that I do that I hate is that needs to go, and it's something that I actually got rid of before. So if you want to attack me for the shit that would actually help me get better, like that, because that does my head in when other people do it and when I do it. So at least be like creative, be a positive thing. Attack me for something that is annoying when I say every 5 seconds. Yeah, be creative. Be a creative troll that does some good for the community, instead of being the trash that everybody just looks at and shakes their heads and just go, oh god, that guy again. Like, you're literally the generic troll. If there was a generic name for trolls, they would all call you Jack or fucking Jeremy or I don't know. I can't think of a generic name for trolls, but they would all call you Barry. Yeah, like with Karens. Do you know what I mean? You're interchangeable, is my point. You're interchangeable, and it's not about what I think. It's I see how the audience react to you with absolute indifference. So I don't know why they do it. Anyway, enough of that. Well, let their nerve be touched, because and I see yeah, exactly. Tired of people calling others fascists because they love their country. Absolutely, and that is it. You know, they try and weaponize these words, and the fact of it is, what they're doing when they're trying to shut down people talking about the love of their country and everything else is fascist. When they're trying to shut down free speech and everything else, that is fascist. And isn't it interesting? Groups like Antifa, Hope Not Hate, they all literally, and this is what I mean by projection, guys, what I was talking about earlier on, they literally do the opposite of what it says on the tin. It's almost like a cover story, isn't it? Hope Not Hate. What does everybody call them? Hate No Hope. So, seriously, yeah, you know, you don't get to control the narrative because you hide behind groups with fancy names. Because at the end of the day, you're the people that go, you scumbags that try and call us fascists and all the rest of it. You don't even know what one is. Because if you did, you might realise that you are actually acting out a fascist fantasy whilst we're having free speech. You're ignorant. To those people that would, you know, to that guy and to those people, you're ignorant, which is why you've got the opinion that you do. You like to call us knuckle dragons and everything else without knowing the first thing about us. And you don't want to, because and that's how your teachers and everybody else have managed to brainwash you. Don't talk to those people. They're not worth talking to. I.e., they're afraid of you talking to us because we may make sense and you may actually agree with us. Therefore, too dangerous to talk to. So you don't talk to us. You just insult us. Therefore, no dialogue can be had. Divide and conquer. You're being divided and conquered, and you're allowing them to do it, and you think we're the fascists. No, you're the fool that followed the fools. So you see this is typical of them. I'm glad I see the comment fascist there. I'm glad that comment's come through, because we can all see it now. It'll be up on the screen. So this is what these people do. So you've heard everything I've just said for the last 3-4 minutes, yeah? So we've got context, right? You've all been here, and this person's response is to just say the word fascist. Like the next lowest common denominator is paedophile, yeah? We agree? So there's certain things you call people which are just like the lowest hanging fruit. And so he knows that's going too far, so it's fascist. No argument, no because you said this, then this. Always the same from the left. Just fascist. After 4 minutes of explanation, or 3 minutes of explanation and other things, he can do nothing but make a singular insult, which is supposed to blanket close me down. It doesn't work anymore. But this is the depth of these people. When I say they're vacuous, I don't say it for no reason. A vast majority of them truly are. And you see it when you see vacuous comments like that. It means nothing. It means nothing without context or argument. No, exactly. They probably can't even... Yeah, you're absolutely right. They couldn't define it. Like I said, if they could, maybe they realise that they're doing it. They're engaging in it. But they'll never listen to that advice because, again, don't communicate with them. They may have ideas. And this is what I'm saying we also don't need in our movement. Oh, don't speak to that. You know, we had this when I was first in this movement. Don't speak to those people because they might have bad ideas. Well, if they got bad ideas, how about you trust me to make up my own mind about those ideas being bad? Unbelievable. So the fear that was tried to be instilled on the British people of being called bigot, racist, misogynist, Nazi, racist and all this stuff over things that had nothing to do with any of the words that I've just said. Overrode our police force's sense of duty to the actual people they're supposed to protect. Overrode politics, overrode your own parliament, overrode our right to exist, it seems. All of the human rights and all the people these people are prepared to stand up for some reason, we're the scum of the earth. The British people don't matter. For some reason, we're the one group that, as far as they're concerned, is scum and we don't matter. And then they wonder why we feel the need to protect ourselves. Because nobody else is jumping in. You may have noticed, but nobody else is jumping in. Not the Jews, not the Saudis, no one. Yeah, so we got to protect ourselves. No one's making us a protected group. No one's jumping out for our rights as a soon-to-be minority. Nobody gives a shit. Is that revenge for the British Empire or what? I have no idea. I truly don't. I say that half jokingly and half not knowing. But yeah, make no mistake, if this was happening to any other group, there would be much more fundamental questions asked about it without the need to accuse everybody of hatred and everything else. It's very little to do with hatred. When you really get down to the bottom of most people's arguments, you find out something that we should know about people in our country. They're not fucking barbarians. And you can give them all the labels you like. but they're not fucking barbarians. So just because they say they want their country back, it doesn't mean they want to go around doing the things that you absolute nutcases think want to happen. I saw something last night where, I'm not going to repeat it, but the things that people think is okay to do to get people out of the country, and these are not I'm not talking about people on our side. Insane. Okay, so Lexa, my one letdown is that often I mean far left and I say left, and it is a failing of mine. And I have always had friends on the left, even if we don't agree on our politics. Obviously things have got a lot more polarised recently, so it's, you know, some people have disowned me for being on the right or whatever, which is fine, you know, whatever. But I don't think it should always come down to that. I think there was always plenty of reasonable people on the left, and I've known many of them. So I've always gone for the far left. But there's just been so much more attack from the general left recently. That's probably why I say it. But generally speaking, you're right. I should say who I mean. So generally speaking, I mean the far left, the extremes, yeah, the absolute extremes. So I apologise for generalising you into that, because I realise, you know, as I said, I've had, you know, it was only last year, you know, someone on the left that I disagree with, we spoke over email on that, you know, his take was, look, we're all human beings. He knew we weren't racist, you know, and he was like, we're all human beings. He knew we weren't racist, everything else, and cool for us to coexist. You know, I'm fine with people like that. I am totally fine with people like that. It's just the people that come out guns blazing, saying that we're full of hatred, that you know, we hate black people, that we hate this, we hate that. You know, that same old rhetoric. It just, you know, it's done so much damage to the people of this country, on both sides of the coin, by the way, and both sides of race, because it's made people of colour not trust us as much. So I don't mean, you know, people that don't engage that kind of stuff. No, listen. Oh, what happened? I don't know. Something's just happened there. No, listen. Lex has made a point. Lex has made a point. She's allowed to make that point, and she's made. I think she's made an okay point. You know, it's cool. It's cool. You know, listen. Let's not pretend that people on the left don't sometimes get a hard time, right? Because again, this is the honesty channel. You're not going to get bullshit here, right? Never trust a lefty with your kids. Yeah, that's low-hanging fruit as well. Do we do that? Do we do that? We do, don't we? So, just saying, we give as good as we get. So, yeah, they do, you know, get their fair. Don't in fairness, it's on demos and stuff like that with some of the craziest people. But, they, you know, like, and I'll give you a perfect example. Last year, there was a guy at a demo, and I assumed I knew everything about him. I misread him, and I don't often do that, but I misread him, and I ripped him apart. And he came on my comments, and he couldn't have been a nicer fucking guy. He wasn't an act, and he spoke to me in email. And I went to go and meet him, and I didn't. But he spoke to me in email and that, and he was a really fucking nice bloke, and I felt really bad for it afterwards because. Yeah, you know, so we can do it. We can do it on our side as well. And let's not pretend it doesn't happen, because it does. So I'm trying to catch up, guys. But please remember, I'm not seeing all the chat as well, yeah? Yeah, some guy came in and he just like left the word fascist after I tried to explain for about, was it, guys, what, about 2, 3, 4 minutes, you know, why that wasn't the case. But and those are the people we're talking about, those people that just come in and just again, they use insults, and I don't know what they think they're going to accomplish by them. I've always called them one movers, and that is that they come in with either one argument or one move they think is going to, I don't know what exactly, maybe cause a provocation, and that's all they've got. And then if you ask them to do anything, back it up or debate or anything else, that's it, they're out of ammo. They had that one shot. So I call them one movers because they literally have one move in their arsenal. It's a strange type of people. But anyway, I've gone on for far too long, guys. It's been an hour. Appreciate your point of view. Person from Australia, appreciate your point of view. I understand. Nationalism, fascism. Well, they're always going to try and make that. They're always going to try and make that argument. But I think it's more fair to say that a word like nationalism was misused by people for a very long time, and I think that real nationalists would like to claim it back. You know. I hear you. Thank you, Lexa. I do appreciate it. Thank you. That's nice. That's nice. See, and this is how it can be. You know, this is how it can be. And this is why, again, I refuse to just do this polarization thing where we just automatically assume everyone's bad. You know, we've got to allow people a chance to speak. We've got to allow people a chance to, you know, if someone's prepared to come and speak and to do that, remember, that takes a lot of, like, Lexa coming here and speaking, that takes a lot of balls. Sorry, Lexa, that's probably the wrong thing to say, but you know what I'm trying to say. And so always remember to respect that, and if someone can do that, like, give them that little bit of extra respect and let them speak, you know, because the more as a people, the more ground we can make together, the better. And we're not going to make that ground if we instantly make massive assumptions about each other. The whole, you know, we talk about the left because we're doing a news piece or whatever, but they're not a monolith, sorry. And this is why so many people jump in sides in politics at the moment as well, because both sides aren't standing for the principles that they're supposed to. So there's a lot of migration as well going on. So it's a bit of a mess out there. So, and just remember, going back in this country not long ago, when I was younger and not a kid, we didn't talk much about politics outwardly, and we certainly didn't speak to people based on their politics. That never happened. This is all very new. You know. Ah, bless you. No, and same for you. Don't let anybody get you down. Yeah. Keep fighting for what you believe in. That's all that matters. You know, that's all that matters. I respect anybody that has a belief and fights for it. You know, so don't let them get you down either. Everybody, thank you for joining me. I do appreciate it. I really do appreciate you. Yeah, let's hope people try and do better, because at the moment they've done piss poorly, haven't they? I'll catch you soon. I'm Tom Fury. This is Zero News, and I'm calling it a day for now. Thanks, everyone.